Greetings to readers, viewers, and listeners, and welcome to this next edition or this next episode of a joint production of the Autistic SuperBlog and Hope Rocks, known as the HopeCast. This one's going to sound like I'm premeditating things on what's going on in the world right now when it comes to what's going on in the Middle East right now, and I wanted to say right out of the gate, it's not. But I wanted to say that my heart, my thoughts, and my prayers go out to all those who are affected by the incident, and I want to just make that clear right out of the gate. But with that being said, I want to get down to what I wanted to talk about when it comes to the good and the bad that happens in our lives. Let's face it, dear readers and viewers, life can get really mad. Things can get really messy. Things can get really upsetting. Things can feel a little out of sorts. Things can happen. Life can change on a dime. Things can happen that you never would have expected would happen, and you never would have thought would ever come into play because you always thought that things would always stay the same, or maybe or things could always be in your favor. Unfortunately, life is a way of showing us that that's not the case. And it's so easy. I noticed from my own personal experience that life can get a little messy and life can get a little bit down. And it's easy. It's so easy, too easy, in fact, to feel depressed, to feel like things can't get any better, that things can't, that it's always that you always have to live with a dark cloud over yourself for months. And sometimes that could be the case. Sometimes that can be the case. And it can feel like that when all around you is when all around you have is a dark cloud and never get the chance to realize just how things can get better, just how things can feel better than they might be. Um, I just wanted to I realized that the reason why I bring this up is that with everything that goes on in our lives, things can things are going to get misconstrued. Things that are said or not said are going to feel like things could go awry. Like the best laid plans that you have, like the best laid plans that you have for your life or for your or what you feel like your life should be takes a drastic turn and things can happen like getting paralyzed, like um, getting in a situation that you feel like you can't get out of, getting into situations that you feel that you can't get out of, that are difficult to get out of, I should say. And I wanted to say that even though that may feel like a lot, that difficulty can can always be in life. Hope can also be in life as well, just as much. Let me give you I'll give everyone an example. Um, During a rough patch in my life, I was going through a rough patch in my life, and things could I couldn't think of things getting any worse. Like things, I wanted to think that things got could get better, but as time went on, things felt like I was getting stagnant. That I was feeling worse off. That I felt like everything couldn't go right for me. That things could only go wrong in my life and Rosie and everyone else's life. And it's kind of the same thing with social media because you only get to see one side of a person's life. You don't get a chance to see the behind the scenes. You don't get to see you get to see it's like the iceberg. It's like an iceberg. You get only get to see the tip of the iceberg, not realizing what's lying underneath. What lessons were learned or what was brought up to make the iceberg what it is. Um, and that's the kind of thing with social media too, and that's the kind of thing we think about when it comes to life. We always think that things are better for everyone else, but not for us. And it could get really frustrating at times. You feel like you're stagnant and you feel like you can't get anything right. Um, One of the things that I've learned myself personally during my autistic burnout is the fact that I felt like I felt like I could do things on my own, only to find out that I needed help, that I was masking and letting things not bother me that were clearly bothering me. I didn't let it out. And it built up, and all the stress and all the anxiety, all the fear, all everything that was going on came up all at once, and it finally happened on Thanksgiving last year that I discovered I was dealing with autistic burnout. And it honestly felt for me like I was dealing with a concussion, much like in the same way I was dealing with a storm, a black fog in my life. Um, but one thing that really got me to look at my life in a different light was the fact that faith was always a part of it. As most people may realize, I am a Roman Catholic, but I'm also someone that really looks at things in in a better light because of my faith, and it's because of my friends that really helps me see the better parts of my life, to see the better things that are going on in my life, and I can only match that to a dear friend of mine who is a retired teacher and who does a lot of things when it comes to the community. And on a personal note, I just want to say thank you to that individual, that he means the world to me. And I just wanted him to know that because it was him that helped me out during my time of need. It was him that really like brought me out of how I was feeling. And it's the same thing with myself and my dealing with autistic burnout. I felt like I didn't need help, that I could do it on my own, but realizing that I didn't, that I couldn't do it all on my own, that I couldn't like really do everything by myself. And it really kind of made me feel like, okay, maybe I do need help on this. Maybe I do need help in one aspect of my life. And I still do. With that being said, I feel like to discount the achievements that you've done prior to that is something that really needs to be reevaluated because um, things can only go so far before life throws you a curveball, and it's all the way to kind of get to use that curveball to your advantage. So let that curveball work with you. Let the environment, let the circumstances help you out instead of just thinking that the circumstances are bad and that things can't get any better or that things can't get any worse. Use them instead to make them feel better. Use your environment to let it work for you. Use your environment to really make yourself, to really build yourself up. And in the other way, you might be able to inspire and build up other people too. That's always been something that's been noted in my life. I've mentioned my artist. I mentioned my artist streak. Um, about how being an artist makes me feel versatile in certain situations, but it's like my autistic side kind of counters me out of whack. And of course, that's not the case. I mean, my autistic side is dealing with the situation as it is, and my artist side comes together with my autistic side to kind of help me go through the trials and tribulations that go in my life. So maybe the way to look at this is look at the bad things that are going on in the world, look at the bad things that are going on in life, and realize that instead of focusing on the bad, focus on the good. Focus on the good things that are going on. Think about the people that are in need right now. Think about the people who need help. Think about the people, yourself included, that need help. Think about things that might go wrong, but also look at the things that could go right. I mean, it's something to think about, but it's also something to really like get some to kind of help yourself out in a way if you're helping others. Um, I know that volunteering for myself makes me feel like I'm doing a great job, all things considered. Even if my life's uh eh, not doing so great, I feel like if I help others out, I feel like I'm doing a good job, all things considered. Um, I feel like writing poetry. I've mentioned how my poetry helps me take care of my feelings when it comes to how it processes my emotions. And I've always felt like the good and the bad are always going to be around. But what side do you feed? Do you feed the bad side or the good side? And it's a balance, one that I'm dealing with myself, all things considered, and one that I feel like needs to. I need a reminder too to feed the good instead of the bad. And sometimes it's tough to do, and I'm sure it's tough for everyone too. But just focus on the good that you're doing now. And if you're feeling depressed right now, realize you don't have to stay there. With your friends, your family, with your community around you, you can do a lot of great things, and you can always help others out when they need it. That's always the way I've looked at it, and it's always the same way that I've looked at other things too. So, with that being said, I hope you guys all like this the HopeCast. You can check out my videos here on the Autistic SuperBlog. .wordpress.com. You can check me out here on the Autistic Super channel on YouTube, and you can check out in the links below. You can check out links for Hope Rocks. You can check out things for other events too, and maybe you can help out your community in that way to try and be hope to other people. Um, with that being said, until next time, dear viewers and listeners, stay safe, stay strong, stay hopeful, and as always, shine on.